In this chapter, we're going to talk about the structure of the atom. In particular, we will be interested in the electrons. It is the electrons, especially the outer electrons, that determine how a particular atom will combine with another atom, or how a molecule or ion will react with another molecule or ion. We will also look at periodic trends, how various properties change as we move around the periodic table. The first thing we want to talk about is just in general electromagnetic radiation. So it was discovered that electromagnetic radiation can travel through space without any kind of medium. So for example, unlike sound, which requires a medium, air, water, or something to transmit the waves, electromagnetic radiation can travel through basically a vacuum. There are three characteristics of electromagnetic radiation that we're interested in and that really define it: wavelength, frequency, and speed. So in the next slide, well, actually it'll be a little easier to see what these things refer to, but the main point right now is that the speed of light is a constant, and that is equal to the wavelength times the frequency. Okay, so here we see what we're talking about. So the wavelength is the distance between any two consecutive points on the wave. The frequency is basically how many oscillations or how many waves pass a particular point per second. And we can have high frequency, in which case we'd have short wavelength, or we can have low frequency, in which case we'd have long wavelength. So those two are inversely related to one another. So it's interesting, for the vast amount of time that there has been life on the planet, the only type of radiation that we were really familiar with was in the visible range, because our eyes can only detect the visible range. Some animals can detect a little bit outside of the visible range, either toward the ultraviolet or the infrared. But we have developed instrumentation which enables us to measure the frequency and wavelength of radiation outside of the visible range.